Safe YouTubers, stop with the jelly pot, what's happening? Yeah, this is the first part in regards to my case. Everyone's asking, how did you get off, Gel? As I said before, it's not as simple as that, every case is different. So, in Jelly Pots, we'll look at the law on UK cultivation and production of cannabis. I showed you what they actually look for. Now, how it rolled was April 2015, I got busted. September 2015, I had to answer back to bail. Then they give you a date for magistrates court. That was early October for me. And then you have a date for pre-sentence reports with the probation officer in the South Wales criminal justice system for myself. So what a pre-sentence report is basically a probation officer in the criminal justice system asks your friggin' life story, the ins and outs of everything. You have to tell them everything. Then you have to show them then basically off the information, or they analyse off the information what you've given them, and they write down what your role is, as I've taught you before, what size the category is off the CSI photographs, as you've seen, and then the character of the person. So, this is obviously shitting bricks big time. It's the biggest interview of my life. And obviously I'm in a bit of a mess, like worried. So what I do is, obviously I can't tell you my whole life story just in the one vid, alright? So, you know, in an interview, if you go to a new interview with a job, obviously you're not going to dwell on all the negatives about you. You're going to big up yourself and say all the positives. So what I'll do for this video, I will show you basically, I'll give you some highlights, right, of the last few years. And then I will show you the references, what I actually showed, the evidence, what I actually showed to the probation officer. So, are you ready for this? If you don't know me, or you know of me, strap your seats in, because it all is about to go a bit potty here on the Jelly Pot channel. Right, go up, July 2011, I believe I had a supernatural encounter with God. My mate's obviously worried I'd gone completely nuts. I come back in September. I was a devout Christian, sold everything I had, took homeless people off the streets, worked 60, 20, 80% of my Saturday nights with a homeless shelter, voluntarily. I used to go around pubs and houses praying for people and believing in healing. I was even on God TV for 5 minutes about my story, and I'm even in a Christian book, a whole chapter on me, and the author actually works in the South Wales criminal justice system as a probation officer. Yeah, right, so those are my mitigating features. So it's not what you say, it's what you can prove. So, firstly, this is me taking a plunge or getting baptised, yeah? And I had a reference off this pastor. To whom it may concern, I have known Lloyd Jellypot for approximately 4 years. In that time, I found him to be a passionate and committed person. He is an articulate man with much to offer those he encounters. Lloyd is someone who gives all he can to the things that he believes in. I'm glad to say that I am able to recommend him to you wholeheartedly. Yours sincerely, Reverend of that church. Okay, this little picture here, this is Sarah. I bought her that uniform and shoes so she can get to school, bless her. Happy days. This is the cover of the book. Yeah, so I mean, this dude is a probation officer, works in the criminal justice system. Obviously, I'm keeping the title and the names there covered up for security there, like, because I don't know if I can share this information or if they'd be happy with it. But yeah, I mean, he's a probation officer, so like, to do pre-sentence reports, I could actually go to someone like him, you know? And I went on this dude's stag do, like a couple of years ago before this factory. So, I mean, that's gonna hold some serious weight there. There's not many, like gangsters or criminals going into jail with that. Now the next thing, obviously you've got to be with that factory, right? It's a lot of work. Obviously there's a lot of shit that goes into it. They're obviously going to take the buds, they're going to take the plants, yeah, chop them down, and then all the equipment that's left in the house, you've got to get rid of that yourself. Now I've rented this house, right, of this landlady, or I'm obviously going to keep anonymous, yeah, and I mean, like, most people would probably just walk away and leave that. Now, what I did, I cleaned it top to bottom. I got all the stuff out. Plants were heavy as well because I fed them 2 o'clock in the morning before they come through the door. So all the plants are full of water, all the drip trays and everything. Absolute friggin' nightmare. But yeah, I cleaned it for her top to bottom. I paid her all the money that I was owed. I looked after the house for her the next couple of months after as well. Paid her all the money for that. I even did some painting and decorating down in the garden as well. So she done me a reference. She says, I am the owner of so-and-so Cardiff. Lloyd rented my property from me earlier this year for 6 months. I was notified by the police that Lloyd has used the property as a cannabis factory. I contacted Lloyd, who immediately confessed to me and apologised for causing me trouble. He paid me the rent due, and as recompense he painted the property inside and out and left it in perfect order. While I'm disappointed that Lloyd used the property for growing cannabis, I am grateful to him for trying to make amends and working on the property when he could have just walked away from the problem. He has done everything he could to put things right. I bear him no ill will. I'm happy for the courts to take this letter into account in my sentencing, that they decide, and I hope that Lloyd has learnt his lesson and will go on to be a worthwhile member of society. I would think that he would be an ideal candidate for a community service sentence because he is polite and well-mannered and could give something back to the community, which could also help him to find some direction in life. I wish him all the best for the future. Bless, landlady. Lot of love. But yeah, I even sorted out the electricity boxes for her as well, got all that sorted out, you know what I mean? And I made sure I went above and beyond for it to be sorted out and she wasn't left with any shit, basically. You know, because that's just the kind of guy I am. Right. Last one. Now this is hard for me to say. So if I cut off and I don't give anyone shout outs at the end, yeah, I will do them next time. Guys, subscriptions and support, comments, thumbs up, everything, every little bit of support to me is massive because this is hard for me to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. But it's the last one. Right. This is a story of Craig White. I met Craig in the homeless shelter that I worked in voluntarily, like I told you about, in Cardiff. Now, Craig, bless him, he was stuck. He was a good boy. He had everything once. He had the lady. He had a beautiful daughter, Kat, who he loved. You know, he had the house, everything. He had mental health issues, but he basically wasn't well, and he wasn't allowed to go and see his daughter again. And his missus obviously like restraining order for whatever reason, you know, I don't know all that, but he got stuck in the system, homeless, alcoholic, then turned to heroin. Really bad stuff, but in the system, I've worked with them, I sort of understand that they need help. That's what the last video was about. It was a bit stupid because I was still wrecked from the night before, but it gets a point out there that people shouldn't be we shouldn't be criminals for taking drugs. We should be helped, like especially in cases like heroin, which is obviously really bad. I'll get to that later on in different videos. But yeah, basically I took him off the sheets to try and help him with the heroin, get him to what they call a raw cluck, get him off the heroin. He went back to Cardiff. He went to take some stuff again. I knew exactly where he'd be, and I managed to get him when he went over in the phone box. He went under, he went grey. I gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, phoned for the ambulance got him, they got him back to life after about 4.5 minutes. They took him into Cardiff Ward Hospital. I went to visit him the next day. He threatened he was going to throw himself out the window because he needed to get out, and they locked him in a mental hospital then. I used to go to the mental hospital, I'd visit him, play chess with him, love playing game of chess with him, and I told him, I said, don't let him out, he's going to do it again. He went out, he went to a public toilet, boom, straight in the vein, bam, died. Whew, it was hard. So, you know, I was there for his family and that basically, yeah. Risha, his sister, bless her, amazing. Hendrix as well, shout out. They've done a charity in his name, Reverend Risha, and it's called Coffee for Craig. Check it out, I'll put it in the link in the description, Facebook or YouTube. And this is a reference, what she wrote for me. I'm writing concerning Mr. Lloyd Jelnack. I first met Lloyd when my brother Craig died in September 2013. He was of the utmost comfort to myself and my family following Craig's death. He was sensitive, comforting, hopeful and honest. He told us all about the weeks before Craig's death and how he had helped Craig. Without Lloyd, I would not have known about Craig's last few weeks. Lloyd had considerable contact with Craig the year leading to his death and had become a confidant and companion to him. 6 weeks before his death, Craig approached Lloyd and asked for his help. Lloyd went above and beyond the call of friendship and took him to his parents' house, where he helped Craig withdraw from the heroin that he was addicted to. Following Craig's death, we asked Lloyd to officiate his funeral, such was the level of respect we have in Lloyd. He also knew the people Craig had spent the last 2 years with, and he knew how to honour his memory correctly. Despite being a religious man himself, he was able to officiate a humanist service. He had not done anything like this before. He stepped up to the challenge. He did this with grace and consideration and helped to make Craig's funeral both personal and warm, remembering Craig in a way that brought comfort to myself, our family and Craig's friends. Lloyd helped us with a meal we created for the homeless community that were Craig's friends, an evening chapter of his life. He put us in touch with the City Temple that also helped Craig and who ran an outreach service for the homeless in Cardiff. Lloyd was paramount in the organisation of the meal and with the communication between us and the City Temple. I always found Lloyd to be dedicated to his religion and the people he met along his path. He was a very happy man, honest, entertaining and engaging. His thoughts were for helping others and his concerns were always genuine and heartfelt. He certainly was a great force of comfort for myself, my son and wife. He made time to chat to us and pray with us and make us laugh in our time of grief. He stayed with us after the funeral and he ensured we got home and made sure we were safe. Our entire visit to Cardiff was smooth and comforting thanks to the presence of Lloyd. Lloyd was a great influence for the launch of our charitable organisation Coffee for Craig, which we found in the days following Craig's death. Lloyd was both encouraging and helpful and would chat to us when we needed advice or information. It saddens me to hear that Lloyd has fallen from his path, but believe he will find his way again given the chance. He deserves to get the support and help that he needs to get back on the path of recovery and to continue to be the influential, kind and caring man that he showed that he truly is. I'd like to offer my condolences and continued support to him and his family at this time. I hope that Lloyd can get the same help and support that he himself has offered so many. My life's mad. Peace.